Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Trell. I'm back. I had a different type of what if for y'all. I'm not gonna lie. So for this, um, I realized that I couldn't really script it or write it out. I really just had to go off of what I know and use my imagination, what makes it more like creative based, I guess. So yeah, but without further ado, I present to y'all the movie of What If Naruto Was Like Sub-Zero. Without further ado, roll the intro.
覚えておけ。パンダだって泣くんだ。誰が何と言おうと、猿どもは嫌いだ。虎杖君、あとは頼みます。
虎杖、みんなに伝えて。悪くなかった。
起きろブラザー。俺たちの戦いはこれからだ。
Alright, so basically, Naruto, at his birth, let's say that for this, let's say Naruto is, he's, let's say everything goes the same way, right? And so, yeah, let's say everything goes the same way, right? Because I'm thinking I'll just put Naruto, like, give him my Ice Genkai or some shit, and then make it have, like, Sub-Zero abilities. And so, yeah, so let's say everything goes like the same exact way. His parents die. He becomes the nine Sejin Jinchuriki at birth and all that. Yada yada woo woo. So let's have a 4 year time skip. Naruto up around this age is being trained by Hiruzen, if you can call it that. And so Naruto was he's energetic for a 4 year old. Soon later along the line, a couple months, Naruto's birthday is happening, right? And on his fifth birthday, Naruto's by himself because, like, like nobody cares for him and shit like that in the beginning. So Naruto is by himself. So as Naruto is by himself, all alone on his birthday, Naruto would be by some water, like by like a pond, right, in the like forest or something, and he'd be by himself, and Naruto would like get mad and would start thinking like, why why does my life suck? Why does nobody care for me? Why does everybody hate me? And in this moment of frustration, he would like raise his hands up in like frustration, and the water would turn into ice, and like a big ass ice glacier would just pop out of nowhere. And then Naruto, when he moved his hands back down, the ice would turn right back into water, like as if nothing happened. And when Naruto realized that he can make shit turn into ice and control like basically the water and shit, he started to train more and more each day. Like every day he would come back to that specific spot and train and train and train and train and train. And eventually we go up until Naruto turns 12, right? And he goes into the academy. And as he goes to the academy, that's when Naruto would walk in and he would see this boy named Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke would still be Sasuke because he's an asshole. You feel me? That's how he is. But yeah, Sasuke would still be Sasuke. The Uchiha massacre would still happen. And yeah. So yeah, Naruto wouldn't sit by Sasuke. Naruto sits by the window alone and more cut off and distant and nonchalant. because that's how Naruto now is. And so that's when Iruka was walking, but simultaneously also Ino and Sakura were walking. And Naruto would look at Ino in anyways. So but yeah, so Naruto would see Ino and like immediately fall in love, right? But Naruto would have to push that feeling to the side for now. But Ino and Naruto would make eye contact and Ino would also fall in love with Naruto. And Naruto and Ino would just stare at each other until they finally looked away. And then would like tell Sakura, "Oh, you can sit by Sasuke. I don't care." And that would shock basically the whole class, as Ino would go and sit beside Naruto. And like, yeah. And so this would actually get Sasuke's attention because he's used to all the attention being on him. Everybody fighting over him. Everybody wanting to be like him or around him and shit like that. But Naruto changed that. And so as all this going on, Naruto and Sakura, I mean not Naruto and Sakura, Naruto and Ino would like look at each other and start talking. And the more and more they talked, it seemed like the more and more easier it was to connect with one another. And the more and more people understood what was going on between them. And so fast forward a couple months and Iruka has everybody spar with somebody. And we're gonna skip all the fights. That's irrelevant because we only here for the action. I would have my rules. Don't care. So Naruto versus Sasuke would take place. Naruto and Sasuke are both powerful in their own right, but Naruto in this what if is smarter due to his I don't know how to say it. Like Sasuke had support. Sasuke had people he could learn from and people who were willing to teach him. Naruto didn't have that, not in the canon nor now. So Naruto would learn and be more self-taught and more independent than other ninja or other kids that grew up with parents and people to teach them things. Because even though Naruto had Hiruzen, Hiruzen wasn't taking care of Naruto. Hiruzen was more so of simply just there as a presence in Naruto's life. And as Naruto got older, Naruto would want to get away from Hiruzen because he didn't want that in his life, and he knew that he wouldn't benefit from it whatsoever. So he decided, all right, look, I'm gonna cut him off, and I'm gonna get stronger my own way, and that's what Naruto did. So as all this went, like, all damn, as all this went down, right? Naruto and Sasuke would be facing off, standing off, I should say, looking at each other, calculating, until Aruka suddenly says Hajime, which would signal the beginning of the fight. And nobody moved until 5 seconds later when Sasuke tried something. Sasuke tried a fireball jutsu immediately, but Naruto immediately appeared behind him and kicked him. And so the kick was so powerful that it sent him across the little circle thing that they were supposed to stay in. But Naruto didn't let Sasuke get out just yet. He wanted to have some fun and test out his new abilities and see how powerful he really is. Naruto would grab him, but it wasn't really Naruto. It was the ice clone Naruto had made beforehand to trick Sasuke. So the whole time they were staring off, that was a ice clone that Naruto made. And the real Naruto would have been up in the tree. But the Naruto that kicked him is actually of the real Naruto. And so as all this went down, Sasuke would proceed to get grabbed by the ice clone and get slammed. Like I'm talking about straight Hulk treatment, my nigga. Like that nigga got fucking slammed. And so as all this went down, Nar- Naruto would be looking at Sasuke with disappointment because it's like everybody hyped his name up. Everybody talked about him being the last Uchiha and this and that and the third. And he just got dropped in like a matter of seconds. It was not even 10 seconds to be honest. Like What happened? Even the onlookers and the passers-by who were literally trying to get groceries and shit had to stop and look. And they couldn't believe that Naruto beat Sasuke. And it was just like, damn, you telling me the demon fox brat beat the prodigy of Chiha? And then Sasuke would be like, how? Naruto would walk up to Sasuke all nonchalantly and would be like, just because your last name is Uchiha doesn't mean that you're stronger than me. And then Sasuke would proceed to say, that's exactly how it should be. And Naruto would proceed to drop one of the hardest quotes in anime history. Naruto would say, just because that people don't cherish what they have doesn't mean that you'll always be the one who's stronger. You take people for granted and you look at everybody as if they're to blame for your faults in life. That's not strength. That's simply you pushing everybody who cared away. Unlike as for me, I had nobody to care for me. I didn't have parents. I didn't have a brother. I didn't have a childhood. The only thing I ever gotten was spoiled ramen, spoiled milk. I had to cook for myself. If I could say that, I had to eat raw fish. I was practically eating garbage. And then one day something changed. Something changed during my time in that forest and the frustration I was going through. I discovered that I had powers. And now that's what I live for. And then Naruto would proceed to walk away. And so as all this went down, later that day, Ino would walk beside Naruto and be like, "Hey, like you good? You straight?" Cause like in Ino's mind, that she like, "Yeah, that's my man." Like she don't get no fuck right now. That's her man. That's her boo. And so Naruto would be like, "Yeah," and yada yada woo woo. And then Ino would take Naruto to meet her parents, and Naruto wasn't even phased by it. So Naruto wouldn't be phased, right? And so they were walking together, hand in hand, and for the first time ever in Naruto's life, Naruto would feel something. He wasn't sure what it was. Perhaps it was confusion. Perhaps it was excitement. Perhaps it was joy. Or perhaps it was acceptance. And with that acceptance came Ino's parents and Ino herself. Because for the first time in Naruto's life ever, somebody who wasn't supposed to even cared. Somebody cares for Naruto. And that touched Naruto. That struck a chord in him. He didn't know what it struck or started. But he knew whatever it was special. He was going to hold on to that and protect it by any means necessary. And as all this went down, Naruto would be greeted by Ino's parents, welcomely and warm hearted, to say the least. Naruto, in this moment, literally could barely hold back his own tears. And when Ino realized this, Ino grabbed him and hugged him. He said, "You're no longer alone." And that's exactly when Naruto would proceed to let everything out that he'd been holding in all those years. And Ino's mom would absolutely be heartbroken at the sight of this. Because despite knowing what Naruto has inside him, she can't stand to see that people would treat somebody this way. I mean, if we're being honest, what is standing what's really stopping Naruto from letting out the tail beast? What's stopping Naruto from going evil? Nothing. Nobody and nobody alone is stopping him. So in her mind, she's thinking, who could just abandon him like this? Like, who could just do this to their child? And then she put it the pieces together. She looked at the picture that she had hung up. Um, she looked at the Minato Namikaze picture she had hung up. And then she looked at the Kushina picture she had hung up. And she looked back at Naruto. And with a slight gasp, that's when she said, "You're the son of the fourth Hokage and Kushina Uzumaki." And Naruto would look up and be like, "What?" And so that's when everybody would sit down at the dinner table, and over dinner she would explain to Naruto about everything. And Naruto wouldn't feel so bad anymore. Naruto wouldn't feel like he'd been abandoned anymore. Naruto would feel this sense of relief that his parents didn't just up and leave him because they didn't care, or just left him because they just felt like that was the best option. No, they sacrificed themselves to protect him, even as a baby. That showed how much that his parents really, really cared. And Naruto would just be sitting there, and he would be thinking to himself like, so my parents cared this whole time, and I never knew because nobody told me that I had parents that cared in the first place. Let alone nobody told me that the fourth Hokage or Kushina was my mom or dad. And he would proceed to ask one question: Why didn't why did bro damn why didn't the third Hokage tell me? Why didn't Hiruzen tell me this? And she would proceed to explain everything that had happened. And she would be like, because Hiruzen kept this a secret from you because he felt like if you knew, then you would be in great danger. If people knew that your name was tied to the fourth Hokage or Kushina alone, you'd be in grave danger. And Naruto would look at the picture of his father and mother on the wall and would be like, well, whatever danger I'm supposed to be in, tell everybody that I don't care. And that next day, they would have an announcement that Naruto is the son of the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. And in honor of his mom, Naruto would take up the name Uzumaki permanently. But in honor of his father, Naruto would take up the nickname the Yellow Flash of the Leaf. Because the reason why he's the Yellow Flash of the Leaf is because to him, he doesn't feel like to have that title that his dad relied on strictly speed. No, he don't think that's what happened. To Naruto, he felt like his dad relied on strategy and timing and patience. That's what built his title. That's what built the legacy and the dynasty up on the title. It wasn't just about speed, it was about timing, patience, precision, and everything else that came with combat. And his father mastered it and turned it into something else, turned it into his own. And so as this went on, Naruto would finally get assigned to a team. The team would consist of Ino, Naruto, and Shikamaru. And as this all would happen, Naruto would take the bell test alongside Shikamaru and Ino. I mean Ino, not Inu, Ino. And so while this is going on, Naruto and Ino would look at each other and just nod. And so Kakashi is there, sitting, ready for them to do whatever they gotta do. And immediately, Naruto rushes him. Or at least that's what Kakashi thought who rushed him. Until they made contact, and Naruto was cold. Cold as ice, even. And That's when Kakashi would realize he fallen into a trap way too early. This kid, this Jinjuriki, just bested him in thinking before the fight even began. Naruto already set a trap before they even got there. The reason why was because Naruto had previously mapped out the layout of the forest or and the training areas the night before. And so he said, alright, cool. I'm gonna be 30 steps ahead instead of the trap. He placed a seal somewhere. Exactly, he knew exactly where Kakashi would stand, where Kakashi would go. It's not about prediction. He was watching. He was paying attention. He predicted that Kakashi would do it. He knew that Kakashi would do it. Anyways, as this all went down, Kakashi would proceed to get blitzed. And the moment they made contact, the cone would turn into water, wetting, making Kakashi wet. Pause. And so, as all this went down, Naruto, the real Naruto, would throw Ino at Kakashi. And before Kakashi could even move, not Naruto, Shikamaru already trapped Kakashi inside of a shadow prison jutsu. The reason for this was because Kakashi, when he moved, the moment he moved, it wasn't to get him into the trap itself. It was to move him into sunlight so the shadow would reflect off of him. And so as all this went down, that's exactly when Kakashi took one more step and moved in complete shade, which is something you don't do when you're fighting Shikamaru, which gave him complete control, range, and variety of how to capture Kakashi. And so now we're sitting in the scene where the great Kakashi Hatake, the ninja of 1,000 jutsu, is now trapped by not only uneducated qualified Genin, who ain't even made it into Genin yet. Well, no, let's say they ain't Genin, but he's also outsmarted. He got outmaneuvered, outplayed. And as Ino was flying towards him at shit, basically speeds that's uncomprehendable, she would punch the shit out of him. And even when Kakashi tried substituting, Ino would not reflect, but reflexively turn her body midair and her feet would land on a tree. And she would spring herself off and catch Kakashi midair and fall onto him on purpose. And then during this process, as they were falling, Naruto would proceed to move at Mach speed and grab the bells. And then Kakashi would be like, wait, where the bells at? And then that's when Shikamaru would like stand over him and flare one of the bells in his face. And Kakashi would be like, alright, you guys pass. He would be mostly impressed with their teamwork and especially Naruto's outsmarting and his coordination in his attacks. And it was like watching a fourth Hokage move but with a different type of grace around him. And that's exactly where Naruto's style comes in. His style isn't based on some normal average taijutsu or ninjutsu or kenjutsu type of style. No, Naruto has his own unique pattern when it comes to his style. Because the pattern that Naruto has, you can't predict it. You don't know what's coming next. Naruto is always 3 steps ahead. And the reason for that is because of his intellectual intelligence. Naruto is more of a strategist when it comes to combat. In the moment he breaks you, or if he has that nuclear option to break you, he's going to take it most likely because he wants to end the fight as quickly as possible. As all this goes down, Naruto and the rest of his team will proceed to go on a mission. Naruto and his team don't get no D rank bullshit or no C rank. They immediately go straight into A rank missions. So, the first mission that they're ever assigned is escorting no other than Tazuna to the land of the waves. And so they would do that. And as this would happen, Naruto, Sasuke, I mean not Naruto and Sasuke, Naruto, Shikamaru, and Ino would proceed to start escorting Tazuna with Kakashi. And so on their little walk, they would run into the Demon Brothers. But this would be no problem for someone like Naruto, especially with his paralysis when it comes to his surroundings and stuff. And Naruto would simply proceed to just grab both of them actually, and pull them from out the puddle. And Ino would come out of nowhere and just beat the out of both of them. Like there's nothing they can really do when it comes to that. And so as all this goes down, Naruto, Kakashi, Ino, and Shikamaru would proceed to ask questions. And seeing that they didn't give any answers and they were acting stubborn, that's when Naruto decided, alright, you know what, this ain't getting us nowhere. Naruto would proceed to freeze one of the demon brothers. And that's when Naruto would proceed to rip his head off. And then when he unfroze him, he got all the blood from his brother's head pour onto his other brother. And so as all this went down, Naruto would ask him, tell us who sent you and who hired you, and I may let you live. And this is when Kakashi realized that this isn't the same type of person that they used to deal with. This isn't the same side of Minato, the mercifulness or none of that. Naruto doesn't use mercy. Never will, never has. And that's because of his way of life. The world doesn't work on fairness. The world doesn't cherish fairness. It takes and takes and takes until you have nothing left to give. And it tries to break you. And when it does break you, it's going to keep you broken. But Naruto is a survivor of that. He's a survivor because of his powers. Naruto holds his powers as high as life because of the simple fact his powers gave him purpose. His powers gave him rights to simply just be who he was supposed to be. Naruto spent his whole life chasing something that was never going to actually be there until Ino came along, which was having a family and somebody who cared for him. And Ino and her parents are the only thing Naruto cares about more than anything in this world. He doesn't want to be Hokage. He doesn't care about what people think. He only cares about if Ino and and her parents are safe. That's it. So as all this went down, the Demon Brother would proceed to spill the information and say they were hired by a man named Gato. He's about 40 something years old. He's rich, and he has a whole army of mercenaries at his disposal. So this would intrigue Naruto. Naruto would be like, where could we find them? And as this went down, they said, we don't know the precise location. All we know is it's by a waterfall. And so this would be more than enough information because, like, like, the water is Naruto's fucking territory, okay? And it's just like, damn, there's nothing you can do because he's going to turn that bitch to ice and you're fucked. Anyway, so they proceed to continue their journey. Naruto spares the demon brother. And so as he leaves, or as the walk continues, they will proceed to run into a bit of a problem, which would be a flying sword coming at Mach speed. They would all duck instinctively because, like, ain't nobody finna fall for that bullshit. Thought you was finna get a good lick. Until they see some dude sitting there with what looks to be appearing like he's aura farming. And Naruto and the whole team would look up. And Naruto isn't a dummy. Naruto knows exactly who this is. Naruto, before Kakashi would even say anything, would be like, Zabuza. And Zabuza would look at Naruto and be like, how do you know me, boy? And Naruto would be like, well, I've heard stories. And so that's when Naruto would be like, well, I'm gonna get this over quickly. And Naruto would proceed to rush Zabuza without hesitation and Naruto would break Zabuza's sword. Zabuza would be mad, furious, as as he would start moving recklessly, which is something you can't do against a Naruto with this type of intelligence. Naruto would proceed to simply backhand Zabuza like he's a child. And then after, Naruto would proceed to trap Zabuza in an ice prison. Not ice prison jutsu, just ice prison in general. An unbreakable force. That's when Haku would appear. And Haku would be like, "You're just like me." And Haku would proceed to do the ice mirror jutsu on Naruto. And this shit don't work. The shit don't even register because of how strong Naruto, like, the thing with Naruto is, if somebody weaker than him is trying to do something, it won't work. Like, his power is basically like, it's like, if you're weaker than him, your shit not gonna work. Physical attacks and damages don't help. You're not gonna be able to touch him, let alone hurt him or do anything. So your jitsu and your swords and shit are useless. And so that's when Haku would be like, why isn't it working? And Naruto would walk up to Haku and be like, you see, the difference between you and me is I don't rely on a man to give me strength, let alone rely on a man to cherish me. What I have, you could never amount to. What I am, you could never comprehend. Because for me, I am the nightmare. I am what people fear. And unlike you, I don't run behind somebody like Zabuza. I capitalize on those people fear. And whatever happens, it just happens. I don't care rather if somebody cries or if somebody dies. As long as three people in this world are safe that I care about, then I don't care about anything else, not even myself. And Naruto would proceed to say, the only people I care about in this world are Ino and her parents. As long as they're safe, I don't care. And then he would proceed to snap Haku's neck. And that would be how that fight ended. And he would do the same with Zabuza. Or at least before his men came. I mean, Gato's men came. And so, yeah, we still get the iconic scene out of the canon that Zabuza proceeds to kill all of them. That's about the most original shit ever. And so as this goes on, Naruto and them would proceed to be completely fine on the way to go, and they would name the bridge the Great Naruto Bridge. Still, but Naruto would be like, I don't want that. Don't honor it in my name. But they would be confused, like, you killed Zabuza. They would say, Naruto would say, no, call it the Great Uzumaki Bridge. And so that's exactly what they would do. In honor of his mother and his clan, he would call it the Great Uzumaki Bridge. And they would proceed to go back to the village. They would get paid and everything else. So as all this goes down, Naruto, Sasuke, I mean, not fuck, bro. Naruto, Ino, Shikamaru, and Kakashi would proceed to just relax until a couple weeks later. Fast forward, Naruto is now in the mix of a war. And that's due to the resurrection of Madara Uchiha and the awakening of Kaguya and the awakening of the Ten Tails. And so this is when Naruto would realize that, damn, like they in actual danger right now. And so Naruto would immediately rush out to the battlefield. And but before he does, he tells Ino that he loves her, just in case he didn't make it back. He says, Ino, I love you. Always have and always will. Just in case I don't come back, promise me you'll take you and your parents and run. Get to safety. And Enos is crying, but she promised him anyway. And Naruto would leave, just like that. As this goes down, Naruto and basically all the other shinobi who are absolutely getting fucking spanked right now by Madara, Naruto would finally pull up to the battlefield. And ice, or I should say frost, would surround Naruto. And it would be a blue aura that would also surround him, as if the air itself had grew into ice. And so as all this goes down, Naruto would proceed to sit and watch Madara just murder all these shinobi. And Madara would be like, ah, little boy, as he finally noticed Naruto. And Naruto would be like, so I take it you're Madara Uchiha, because Naruto isn't stupid. He's read scrolls. He snuck into the Uchiha compound for that reason. Like, he's not dumb. And Naruto would be like, so you're Madara Uchiha. Let's see how strong you really are. And Madara would just look at Naruto and be like, the son of the fourth Hokage, and Kushina Uzumaki herself. And Naruto would be like, don't say my parents' name. Besides, you're gonna die anyway. And tell them I said, hey, when you do. And that's when Naruto and Madara would proceed to get into an intense fight. They would start at hand-to-hand combat before throwing non-stop ninjutsu at each other. Chakra reserves absolutely fucking pounding and fucking unbreakable, to be honest. And then Naruto would finally start using his ice, which would give him an advantage against Madara's fire and aggressive style. And so as this went down, this is when, in all desperate hope, because that's when Madara realized he can't put Naruto in a Genjutsu because Naruto simply doesn't care enough to acknowledge it. He can't sit and try and to best him in combat because that's not happening with that ice armor he has wrapped around him 24/7. He can't hurt him with ninjutsu because he's a fire user. He literally has fire jutsu. That's it. So he can't do anything because of the ice. So that's when he would say, "All right then, I guess it's time to wrap this up." And before Naruto could kill Madara, Madara would try to absorb the Ten Tails, which would end badly, which would also awaken Kaguya. Kaguya would basically rip through Madara's whole entire body. And Naruto would look at Kaguya and be like, Kaguya Otsutsuki. And Kaguya would be like, my child. And Naruto immediately decides to rock her shit. Cause like, like, nah. Naruto said, I'm not your child. And Kaguya would get furious at Naruto's words and his actions and proceed to try and use her damn lava teleportation shit and all that and change dimensions and shit. Naruto wasn't falling for that shit. And Naruto just froze every single dimension she had at her disposal, making the dimensions that she had useless and now his ability. Naruto stole her ability simply by containing it with his ice. And Kage would be like, don't get cocky or some shit like that. And Naruto would proceed to realize sooner or later on that he can't seal her by himself. But then Naruto would get an idea and would be like, wait a minute, maybe I can. And that's exactly when Naruto would proceed to unlock something. Something primal and demonic, sinister, but powerful. This would be no other than the Nine-Tails Fox inside Naruto that has been dormant since he been born. Naruto and Kurama would have a bond. That's the first screen of their bond being created. Naruto and Kurama would both look at each other, and Kurama couldn't even try to threaten Naruto, let alone try to touch him, because the gaze that Naruto gave him, it wasn't like an Uchiha that wanted to control him. It was a gaze of a boy who didn't care. It was a gaze of a boy who even Kurama didn't even dare to mess with. And for the first time in Kurama's s- life lifetime, he felt something. It wasn't hate. It wasn't grief. It wasn't sadness. No, it was fear. Kurama, the nine-tailed fox who's terrorized the Leaf Village time and time again, has felt fear for the first time in his existence. And Kurama would bow to Naruto and proceed to say, "Take my power and do what you will. I am at your disposal." And Naruto would proceed to unlock Nine Tails Chakra mode immediately. And so that's when Naruto would rush Kaguya and put her in a 10-piece combo, no biscuit. And then that's when Naruto would proceed to seal her. Naruto would seal her with some effort, but not much. Naruto would seal her, and that would be the end of the fight. And then there were one. Well, it was one more person he had to deal with beforehand. He had to deal with somebody of the name of Obito Uchiha. Now, Obito at this time was already revealed and stuck in another dimension with Kakashi. But rules don't apply to Naruto. Naruto doesn't care about the rules, let alone cares about what people think. Naruto would proceed to go into the dimension that Kakashi and Obito were in. And he would see those two struggling to fight and shit, and he would get bored. And he would just launch an icicle straight through Obito's head, killing him. And Kakashi would be like in shock of Naruto's cold execution. But then at the same time, Kakashi would have had to did that either way. So he just ended the war even faster. So they would all go back home. The Hokage would be in shock at Naruto's performance, his records and everything, and how many casualties he caused. He killed three of the strongest people on that field that even the five Kage couldn't do alone. And so as this happened, this is when Naruto would be appointed as Hokage. But Naruto would respond saying, "No, I don't want that. Instead, call me the Shadow Hokage." Naruto would proceed to take the shadow. I mean, damn. Naruto would proceed to take the title and the name of the Shadow Hokage. And not after long, Naruto's 18th birthday would come around. And when Naruto have grown close, they've also have a relationship, the lovers kind. Naruto and Sasuke, I mean not Naruto and Sasuke, Naruto and would also be expecting a baby. And this news shocked everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean everyone. And soon Naruto would propose to Ino. Naruto would sit and propose to Ino one night, and Ino would sit and she would say yeah with a smile. And this is when a couple of days later, the day of the wedding would happen. And so, yeah, the wedding would happen, and the priest would say, "You may now kiss the bride." As they finally got done saying their vows, Naruto and their lips lock in a lingering, heated kiss, but passionate. And so, as all this went down, Naruto and would live happily ever after, having a kid their their baby finally being born, and it would be a girl, and the name that they would choose for her would be the name that they would choose for the girl would be they would name it after Kushina. They would call the baby Kushina, and in honor of Naruto's mother, that's why they named her that. And so, as all this went down, Naruto and would proceed to have a child, raise a baby, and live happily ever after. And for the first time, Naruto would learn how to smile and be happy. Naruto wasn't alone. Naruto wasn't abandoned and never was going to be ever again. Naruto never felt despair when he was with, inner child. Naruto only felt happiness and joy and perhaps something like relief because of how difficult his upbringing was. And then, Ino and Naruto on one magical night under the moon with their child would make eye contact. And they would look at each other and they would proceed to kiss. The kiss being passionate and spicy. And so as all this goes down, they would finally break the kiss. And they would proceed to say, we hope you guys enjoyed Naruto. What if Naruto was like Subzero, the movie? I hope you guys did enjoy this because despite all of the damn pauses and stutters I had to go through, I was really using my imagination and I was trying my hardest to actually mix into the plot and put it together piece by piece as we kept going. But I'm glad that I got to make this video. And honestly, I'm gonna have another one out soon. Not even soon. I have one out right after this video. But yeah, I love you guys. I hope you guys have a nice day. Type in the comments what y'all want to see below. And yeah, I love y'all. Stay tuned and remember I'm live every day. So just come tune in. It'll be link in description. And yeah, see ya. Love y'all. Bye.